Great. So my name is Chella Pitchai, and often I'm asked a question: do I know from the Pitchai? Here at the president, Dr. Akash Ryall, coming to you. Probably maybe all of you, if you could explain the common question I have before I go to specific questions. We'll have exactly 40 minutes. We'll have only 2 questions, and then we'll open it for the audience. Probably all of you, if you could, I'll start with Dr. Akash. If you could, as a founder and principal, can you share a few thoughts on education beyond classroom in Bethany and what you have experienced so far?
The gentleman who spoke a couple hours ago, Dr. Ashoka, I think he just nailed it when he said that it's we live in a world now which really dictates how a person walks into a room, holds his own, if he can have a conversation and make eye contact. I think that is successful today. I'm sure all of you know children are just stuck on their phones. They don't know how to have a conversation. I came mainly because Shanti ma'am said this is the topic, education beyond classrooms, and I think it is just a burning question today. Because if we don't stem this rot about gadgets and mobile phone and TV and what have you, I don't know where our children are going to be. So I think to start, we need to have some kind of a system where the devices are controlled. It's here to stay. We cannot do without it. They will need it at some point in time, but it cannot control their life. So in Bethany, I'll just tell you, we have a little digital detox policy where students have 3 options after school. They're not allowed to bring phones to school, but we have a tripartite agreement between the parents, students, and us, where the parents sign, the students sign, and we sign. And they have 3 options. They get to use their phones for an hour every day, Monday to Friday, or they can use it only on Saturday and Sunday for a couple of hours, maybe an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening, or they can just do away with gadgets. And there are a few kids who manage even the 12th grade without a phone, so it's not impossible. But every 3 months we recognize the children who do this, and I think it's the first step to get them to where we want to go.
Thank you. I think that was very nicely articulated. Technology is, it's both ways it works. It's like a sword with both side sharp, and one has to see how to use it. Thank you very much. And Mr. Sudhir Kiran, I know you have a Ashoka sister Vihar.
Yeah.
I heard about your school. And how did you, some thoughts around beyond classroom, how do you look at it?
Sure. So, good morning to everyone. I think for me, education beyond classroom is sort of inculcating values in children, number one, of how to be good citizens first, how to be empathetic so that you work with people across castes, across classes, and how to understand from the point of view of empathy. So that's what we do at Ashoka Shishu, right? It's a 70-year-old school. It was started by this wonderful lady called Banshan Rama in the 1950s. She was unmarried, she didn't have children, she wanted to give a lot to the low-income families. So over the years we realized that one is how do you really make students understand, be empathetic, have values, and get their moral compass in the right place. I think that's what I'm trying to do. That's one thing. Second thing is that over the last 2.5 years, we have got in social emotional learning to the school. I think that's very important because children need to understand who they are, they need to express themselves, they need to learn to articulate themselves. And more so in the lower socio-economic strata of society. We've also got financial literacy so that children can learn how to transact, understand what banks are, understand what finance is. With that, we have exploratory learning that integrates to their curriculum as well, and this is in science and mathematics. Languages, of course, we have movies, we have film clubs, we have a bunch of things. So, one big part of the low-income family system is you need to have academics, a strong academic backing because they need jobs, right? So they're first-generation families, first-generation students. Secondly, how do you connect them to also a bunch of things that's going around in your reality, right? So, like you said, sir, there are jobs and they're not able to find the right people, right? How do you build them? Also, I think it's adaptability. So we need to build students who can adapt to changing situations. So we don't know in the next 5-10 years how the situation is going to be like. So we have to build citizens who can adapt, who can be smart, who need to have empathy and a good value system. So that's what I think beyond classroom education means. Thank you.
Thank you, Sudhir. And most of it, what he said, leads to the attitude part. We talked about adaptability, talked about they fit into the jobs and so on and so forth. So we'll be happy to hear more in the next round of questions. So, going to Vinod, Mr. Vinod, so what's your take on classroom education beyond classroom?
Good afternoon to the August gathering and to my co-panelists. I am here to articulate or represent Jesuit education because I belong to St.Joseph's group of institutions which is run by the Jesuits. So I would place myself as an ambassador of Jesuit education. And our focus of education in any of our institutions, we are globally there, present. Irrespective of where we are, we do certain things in common. And the focus areas would be 3 basic areas. One is academic excellence, which I am sure most of the, or rather all the educational institutions would place importance to. The second and the third would be character formation. And the third one is social consciousness. And I think academic excellence may happen in our classrooms or outside. And in today's world, knowledge can be got from various sources. But what is lacking is the knowledge suitable to me? How do I skim this? What do I need? What's the need of the hour? This is the first thing. So knowledge is available, but can I take what is most necessary? The skimming of it, and the second one is the application part of it. And the next thing is, in all of our institutions, is a common mission. It is, you can do anything, you can amass knowledge, wealth, or anything, but at the end of it, you ask, what do I do for it? And any particular student who goes through our education should be able to ask, am I a man or a woman for and with others? Am I a man or a woman for and with others? Which calls for service. That means whatever I do in terms of education should translate in terms of service to others. And this is what is social consciousness. I not only uplift myself, but I also uplift others with me. So it can begin from home, even if I am from a very low income family. I begin thinking of my parents and uplift them, or I can begin to think about my friends who may be of different backgrounds, but then I uplift them, which is communitarian or societal, even bigger. But it can begin small or big. But then this is our focus, and this is where education beyond classrooms comes into picture. That knowledge can be gained, but all these other things, the second and the third, is what we need to focus beyond our classrooms, because we do not carry what education we are taking, but what we carry is how the personality. So we firmly believe that you enter our institutions as a person, but when you go out as a personality. And that is where you begin to attract people. I think I have answered. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. I like, so the two things I like. One you said about walk with as a person and go with personality beautifully articulated, and then what you know doesn't make a difference unless you know what you do is what you know. Knowing is just knowledge, but what you do is what you know makes a difference for your success. So thank you, Vinod, and with that, Geetha, we shall be introducing you. Only women in the panel, but I see a lot of women around, so the majority is women in this audience. So what's your take on beyond the classroom?
Very good afternoon to this August gathering. I come representing Delhi Public School, Bangalore North, but we are a group of schools coming from Delhi Public School Society, Delhi. And our school motto is service before self. It speaks volumes about our efforts putting forward to our students who come to us at the tender age and go out as confident individuals, that you get all the exposures required for you to be getting groomed under our care and guidance, that you need to imbibe the value of service and you put others before you. That is very, very evident in all our approaches. And like 5 elements of the universe, we believe in our school that we hold very 5 values very close to our heart. That the trust is the first element. Second, the very vital part of our happy campus is the freedom of expression, the freedom to innovate, the freedom to explore, and the passion with each teacher, each parent walks in to have a conversation, even if something is not all right in a particular context, and the willingness to learn from the mistakes. Be open for anything that comes from, like Rigveda says, let noble thoughts come from everywhere, anywhere. We are there to take it. So that openness and admitting anything not up to the mark, yes, we are looking at it and we are working on it, makes our submission very humble and truthful. That closes the cycle that we believe as our first pillar as trust. So trust building happens here, and from there our journey begins. Education beyond classroom, again, as an institution, you believe in evolving the curriculum, right from, nowadays all of us are talking about NEP 2020, and then we have 5+3+3+4, and all of us go through very vigorous training of, categorically giving children the requisite knowledge and experience. And education beyond classroom is just kneeling down in front of the children, looking at their innocence and their requirement and tweaking your curriculum, bringing storytelling, bringing happy classrooms, taking them out into the campus and making them good observers, making them accept the other personalities that what they are coming across. One way is not the end of the way. One same point can be taught by different teacher in a different way, understood and perceived by another child in a different context, because they all come from diverse background. So being an inclusive school, the diversity is again another high or very close to our heart. It has been our story to make our parents accept that becoming an inclusive school was not an easy task at all. We treaded the path with great difficulty, making the parents understand that, another parent coming and saying this child is disturbing, he's always running around. He's termed as ADHD, while we thought, this is the best brand school and, my child is not getting your attention. But then where will the other child go? So episode after episode, instances after instance, we have given our valuable time thinking that both the children or children with whatever kind of difficulties or neurotypical, everybody is close to our heart, and everybody, that individual child, whether with condition or no condition, we said that the child's dignity and self-respect ought to be given by us as a school, and we cannot overlook because of your wanting the other child to be taken out of the school. We are no one to say that. If everybody says that where will that child go, where will that parent will go? So the sensitization was so much from our end. Now we don't have to talk anything about that to anybody. People come to us saying this number one school practicing inclusivity successfully, and every child with special needs go with that confidence that with all the 21st century skills, they can dance, they can speak, they can run businesses in our school. Children neurotypical, children coming from economically weaker section, children with very diverse needs. They are all masters in their own chosen fields. So I think you make the child look at the ceiling in the class, create a creative question, and their thinking ability is different. You go to the garden, according to the age of the group, you ask the child, what have you observed? Anyway, as a teacher, you have a curriculum, you have lesson plan, you have objective of the lesson, and you have the curricular goal and competency and learning outcome at the end as a teacher. When you are very confident with that and you have communicated that, the children are learning at every level. So you will definitely get the desirable answer, and as a teacher you are successful, allowing every individual to learn in their own pace, in their own style, without saying that I am the teacher and what I say you are supposed to be producing in your worksheet, and this is the answer for which you will be graded. Nothing of that sort. So as teachers, we are learning so many new things from each child. So that openness is our strength, and learning beyond classroom goes simultaneously. There is no, saying that, yeah, of course in senior classes the board patterns are there for which the teachers have to be rigid in inculcating the concepts, marking scheme and pre-boards and all those things. Up to 8, we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun playing with them, walking with them, doing research. Action research we are introducing to our children along with our teachers, and we collaborate with, many schools of Delhi public schools, and with any other schools. Many government school children come to our Atal lab. Many teachers come for training for learning about special education. Our teachers are continuously, we involve them in continual professional development with Bicon Inclusive School, with Spastic Society of Karnataka, Madras Dyslexia Association, Enfold, and many other organized learnings. So we keep evolving day in and day out to hone our skills so that we are able to connect to a person or a teacher or organization when we are facing challenges. So this is our little story from the heart, class beyond, education beyond classroom. Thank you.
Sure, I'll come back in another round of questions to get more to know about what you all do. And diversity, equity, inclusion, that was music to my ears because I'm the global head of diversity, equity, inclusion, and glad to know what you all do. So, Father Nelson, I've been heavily associated with Christ colleges. I do a lot of work on unconscious bias training, and I do anti-sexual harassment trainings for teachers and so on and so forth, but certainly not associated with school, but that's where my focus. So, what is classroom education beyond classroom?
Yes, good afternoon. So I underline everything that my co-panelists shared. So these are the things that we also practice in our school. The motto goes like this: excellence in service. We keep the 3 main values. The first one is all about inculcating values. Second is formation of character. And third comes academics. There is the difference. Because a child who has values and has character will definitely study. So that is the understanding that we have. We always tell 3 C's. The child should be confident, the child should be competent enough, because nowadays, as it is mentioned, the skills, the competency need to be given to children. And the last is all about the passion. So the children should be having all the 3 C's. The child should be confident enough to speak. The child should be confident enough to go out after, after the education, and the third one is the child should be formed as a person with compassion. So the education beyond classroom, I strongly believe the education inside classroom is very less. It should be outside classroom, because inside classroom you have information in the textbook, knowledge. The information is transferred as knowledge through the teachers. It becomes education only when the child takes it, owns it, and processes it. A logical analysis is done by the child, and when the child owns the knowledge, it becomes an education, where the child will be able to translate that to others, to inspire others, to motivate others. So if you ask me, are you educated? The answer is, if I'm able to answer your questions, if I can convince you, if I can, transform that knowledge what I have acquired to somebody, I'm educated. So this education definitely should happen outside the classroom only. I think the education beyond classroom, I think we have to change into education beyond academics. That should be the terminology. Thank you very much.
I think very nicely articulated, going beyond classroom to academics, and then how the education could be taken care of. So, thank you. So, I'm going to come back for one last round of questions, and we have got about 10 minutes, but we will try our storytelling in an effective manner. Before that, there are a few skills I felt as being in corporate for 25 years, working in different industries and seeing so many freshers, me being a fresher going into, and then there are some gaps, and it varies from generation to generation. So today we are talking about Gen Alpha, what you are dealing. If you are not in colleges, I'm not sure how many of you are taking college students in your current students list, but if you're only dealing in schools, mostly you're in the fag end of Gen Z and you're dealing with Gen Alpha. And I don't know how many of you know what is the next generation, which is going to be called Gen Beta. The first kid who's going to be born on January, most likely in China, on January 1st, 2025 is called Gen Beta. Right? Because they are the first one to produce, but still we lead. That's a different story. So, Gen Beta, January 2025 is going to come in. The Gen Alpha whom you're dealing currently, 2028, they will be into corporate. They will turn 18 years. So, we are seriously concerned because we were talking about Gen Y and then Gen Z came. Gen Z is still trying to figure out how to deal with Gen Z. Then suddenly Gen Alpha is going to come in 3 years. So I don't know, corporate we are struggling to figure out. But I don't know whether academic has cracked this code. Are you still keeping the same education system? Are you tuning to them? Have you understood the generation? Can you be our mentors to tell how they deal? Because we are lacking inputs on how this generation is going to come and behave. These are my fundamental questions, but I'm going to come back to you. Keep this in mind. Some other time we can talk, but I'll come to Dr. Akash. Bethany being one of the oldest school, can you share some of the ethos followed based on your core values, and then how some of the best practices, I know you touched upon, but some best practices which you have in Bethany towards classroom, education going beyond the classroom.
I think Sudhir school is older than ours.
Okay.
We're 61 years old, and we don't have any franchises. So we just have 2 schools. We have a special school where we look after about 100 children that come under the umbrella of differently abled. But let me just briefly tell you about best practices, and I think this is how we can do what Father was talking about. I would say the 3 C's should come in a particular order. It should be compassion first, then confidence, and then automatically competency. So we have some funds that the children, the staff, and parents are involved in. We have a staff and student benevolent fund where we look after children. We have about 25 families that we look after. We have over 500 children that get free ships and concessions and what have you. But we went beyond that because we saw that just the free education and free uniform and books sometimes is not enough. They go back to homes where there's no electricity. Sometimes the breadwinner is an alcoholic, and there's no real family values. So we support these 20 families. We have a musical every year, once a year, and then we have a carnival, and then we have club shops every month where everyone contributes. So we build up these little things, and then we look after these families. So that's one fund. We also have a fund that look after our helpers, whether it's the drivers or the canteen staff or just our peons and the maids. And another platinum fund for staff who have worked with us for 25 years. We have a very low rate of attrition. So I think basically if our children are taught to be compassionate and to care for everyone around them, to be humble, then automatically the confidence levels will go up, and if they are happy, then they will learn and they'll do well. So to sum up our ethos, I think everybody mentioned, I think service is very important, respect and caring for everybody around you.
Beautiful, and thank you for sharing. And this social mindset, social work mindset, or compassion, I don't know why it declines when people come into corporates. In schools, I've seen like Protract, and they get involved in a lot of social work. I think the education system make it compulsory. Yesterday, we did an anti-tobacco campaign in schools, in government schools, and we have 5,500 employees. Not even 5 people download, and then slowly, people lose interest, and then we have to go push them, and probably somewhere that is a decline I can see. The legacy of ASV is something which is very impressive, and the strategies for consistency, consistent and quality education beyond classroom is something which you touched upon. How do you envision ASV future of education?
Thank you for that. So we've been sort of educating the community around Pasangudi for about 70 years now. So 1954 is when the school started. Since the inception, I think there was a very and see what their children are doing. So we've got this program called Star of the Week. So we have 8 parents come every week. They come sit with us, they chat, they share, they go to the classroom, they engage with children. So they love how we are connected. So I think one thing is parent communication from the management is very important. And I think that's lacking in most of the schools because they say that they're not allowed into the school, the security guard restricts them. I think there's a lot there that we can work with. Second thing is also try to understand what kind of children you're educating. Who is your target, if I can say? Meaning, I am from the marketing industry, so who are you targeting? Who is your base, basically? And prepare a unique set of programs that can work for them. That's what we have done at our school. So, I've seen that students can get better at self-expression, communication, they have empathy, they have much more empathy than entitled children. Now, how can I increase that empathy? We've got programs for that, and I think they need a bit of support in communication, language building, all of that. So I think that could be one thing that an institution can look at. So going forward, we're going to be doing that, of course. So my vision is that I want one girl child to become the Prime Minister of the country from our school. So that's really my goal. And with that, I think continue that, keep it affordable, and give them the best possible education. So that's what I think the future holds.
Thank you for sharing and the bold vision, and wish you all the best for that, and we hope to see that happen. I guess one other thing which struck me when you were talking is the current survey says, Gen Alpha, we're not talking Gen Z, 11th grade schools, maybe in Gen Z, 90% of Gen Z have the self-doubts, they go through an anxiety problem, and I do a lot of research on this, and then I'm coaching a lot of students in that. and they have sleepless nights. 90%. If you have many kids around probably 15 and above at home, and they're actually going through, they won't talk to parents. Parents are the last one to talk to. So, I don't know how Jane Alpha is going to turn out to be. Looking forward to education system to do some magic there. So with that, coming to Vinod, so the question I have for you is, St. Joseph's has focused more on sports, and not only sports, but have also focused more on sports and exposure beyond classroom, which we are all aware. And can you share a few of the best outcomes of activities done beyond classroom, which as best practices we can take?
Yeah, for this question, I must confess that I went back to my students and asked them, it has been so many months or years that you've been in this institution. What is that experience which you hold dear to your heart? And of course, we do many things, just like any other institution does. So, I wanted to know rather, what is it that appeals to our students? Besides sports, for whatever reasons, all of us know that we encourage sports. We have a lot of, we have big grounds in our institutions, or rather all of our institutions must have a big ground. And what is the importance of a huge ground in an urban setup where play spaces are shrinking. And certain problems which Sir was just telling, mental health problems, is mainly because, today we are becoming very individualistic. We need our own private space. We are becoming very, very private, and including in our homes, this compartmentalization is seen. We want to have everything of our own. I wouldn't be surprised if a house has 6 TVs, just like how we have 6 or 7, equal to the number of people living. That is the level of compartmentalization. So coming to this scenario, what holds dear to my students in our institution is one particular program which is called as an outreach program. And this particular outreach program is where the children are taken to a rural school. It is a Jesuit school, and these are located in North Karnataka. And I'm sure all of us know what is the situation of North Karnataka. If at all we've been there, it's entirely different. There is a divide between South Karnataka and North Karnataka. And these children are exposed to the situations in North Karnataka. They stay there, they experience, they interact with them. And what happens there is the transformation which happens. So basically we are informed. What I am telling you also would be an information about what is happening. And then we also have a formation and a transformation which happens. The formation will happen when the children experience it. What is it that we are blessed and what is it that is lacking? So you see, they have a kind of measure of how we need to thank whatever we have. It may be because of our parents, it may be because of the blessings which we have, but at the same time, we also look at the other and how blessed we are, and we thank for it. And then this is the interchange or exchange which happens. And when these children come back, these become agents of change for the other. They come and exchange ideas with the others and tell about their experience to them. And we've seen a lot of changes which happen. What we speak about skills automatically develop here also. Compassion, what we say. The second one is character, values, everything is happening. So this is the first program. The second one is, what we hold is the different observations during the year. It may be the mental health day, it may be the constitution day, it may be the electoral voters day. All of these at the age of 16 to 18 form a very important role. It is not only the awareness but also the responsibility of how to respond to these various things which are happening. And therefore, you might find that in these competition or in these observations, children participation is very less because they are grounded to their gadgets or whatever happens. But then there is an attempt from our side to pull in as many students to all of these programs. And there you see again, there is a kind of information which is given, and they are able to also articulate as to why these things are being observed, and similarly, you also have to act on it. So these are the programs which we have beyond our classrooms, besides the other things. And this is what the children or the students tell us, that this is what is dear to us, because this is what we carry forward in our life.
Great. I think it's good that you asked the students. I think what's coming from them is what is the reality. Like we can tell 100 things, but what students feel. That's what I started to say, intent to impact. What impact will you? Thank you, Sudhir. Sorry, Vinod, for that. And then coming back to Geetha, previous, of course, we heard the first round you spoke a lot of practices. So I want a specific question on all women driven initiatives which EPS has. Can you share some core activities beyond classroom and also have a connection to the all women driven?
Again, this is a very pertaining question. Knowing that our school offers CBSE board, IGCSE board, Open School, National Institute of Open School, comprising of the junior wing, that is Open Basic Education, graduating to 9th and 10th upwards, National Institute of Open School. We have IG board. We are having special children. We have children of CEO. We have children of people at very high officials of various MNCs. So it is giving us a very humble opportunity to bring everybody at par with each other, understand their background, and contribute towards designing of activities. And as a parent volunteer, they come and do sessions with us. Now, when I talk about the school, we are about 450 teachers, and this one pool of teacher is going to all the, we are free to, as per our basic qualification or background. We have the opportunity and freedom to go to the board that we, can teach. So there is no restriction. I am recruited for a CBSE school classes, and I am only sticking to that. And if I have had in my graduation, post-graduation, or special trainings, if I have the exposure of a particular subject that is offered by IGCSE Cambridge curriculum, and then hand-holding, mentoring, mentor-mentee program is again given. Continual professional development, all trainings are given, teachers are sent. That's again a very, very strong practice that we believe. We go to a differently abled children's classroom, learning station, we can take training and run. We can run the vocational course of our choice. We have, sustainable practices, projects. Our children are, with the mentor teachers sent there to study the community. And a very simple practice like how in our domestic also, we say a lot, but how mindful, the individual is in segregating the wet waste or dry waste or e-waste, whatever it is. We mindlessly, just go ahead with every day. How sensitive we are to do this. So we sent the children with the teacher who was, showing initiative. And for garbage trail project, we sent them, and they came up saying that, it's a very sad state that we are all going through. And when we take them to Jalaposhan, saving Bangalore's lakes, very near to our school is 10 kilometers away, Jakur Lake, which is a very, very popular lake of Bangalore. We work very closely with Satya Foundation doing Jalaposhan Seva in reviving cleanliness drive, tree plantation drive, and lake water cleaning, studying about how the STPs work there. then the children come and study our school's STP and then do a comparative analysis. So this kind of projects give a lot of exposure, and this talks about a great teamwork. The word team itself says that together everyone achieves more, right? So it is a parental stakeholder, it is the management, the principal, the leadership team, the teachers, the parental and the student community, and our alumni has started contributing towards the children's experience, and various projects are being conducted. Now when we talk about our economically weaker section children, we handpick them from home visits, and we bring them up to the level, right from giving them bath to their breakfast to uniform to bag, transport, everything is taken care. Now our study over a period of time is that they have passed 10th standard and gone, studied somehow in a PUC, government PUC college. The family setup is that they are getting married and then blessed with 1 or 2 children, and the child is just stranded. If it is a boy child working as a mechanic, and our hearts ache looking at the children, we have groomed them with so much of love and care. Is this the life that we have envisioned for our children? This question has made us put strong thoughts on skill development courses, and we are giving them entrepreneurial skills, subjects that are enabling them to earn for themselves. So we created our vocational center specially for these children, and the others also can join, of course. Children with special needs and economically weaker children, they are the two hands very strong for us, and teachers from across the department who are having the highest skill and the passion to teach these children come and work with us. A mathematics teacher is doing food preservation, a science teacher is doing tailoring, another teacher is doing a doctor department is doing first aid training, and computer department is doing DTP. So our own brochures and visiting cards are made by our children. Sure. So to that extent it has gone, means it is the teamwork that happens there. So the children, the motto is earn while you are learning. Sure. The school itself is preparing you. At any point of time your family is not supporting you to progress with your academics, you have something to earn for yourself and earn for your family. And we have done research papers on children who have contributed to their families through these skill courses, and we have presented the cases in some of the forums. That's been our success story. Sure. And yes, we sail together having the open mind and heart to pick up any other place. I think Dr. Ashwin is the right person to go and approach for skill development center and more informations to that. So that's all. Sure. Our story from the heart. Thank you. Sure.
Thank you. I know we were running against time, but I didn't want to stop. We're passionately, all of you are sharing what you do. So it's difficult to sit in a moderating seat. I don't want to discourage looking at the watch and looking at your face, but very passionately all of you shared. And then that brings us to the last question, Father Nelson. And I don't think any audience question we can take, but at least with this, we will close it. And how Christ School envisioned education beyond classroom, we heard from you, right? So what is the kind of sustainable practices? What happens is Christ takes multiple evolution, right? So I've worked with many fathers in the past, then there are new fathers come, and new leadership come. But how do you make sure that the continuity of your core focus, it doesn't change, and also not leave an opportunity to enhance it to suit the future?
Yeah, so Christ, I represent the main campus. We have almost 9,800 children. We have 8 schools, validated the number. It's all about, as it is mentioned, from special school to the IB. So any parent comes to the campus can choose according to their wish. And what we always feel is every child should be treated as equal. Now I take care of the Kannada medium as well. Father Nijo is here. He leads the special school as well. So when I took up the charge as the coordinator of all 8 schools, the decision what we have made, 6 fathers made, was empowering special school children and enhancing the quality of the Kannada medium. And now we have 500 children in Kannada medium. They are equally treated and their self-esteem is really high. They are freely educated. And the special school also, there we have almost 75 children there. We treat them, we consider them as equal to others. Everyone is in the same campus. So they play together, they eat together, they interact each other. We have World Disability Day celebrated in all campus. They come and do the programs for our children. Our children go to the special school and interact with them. So there is so much of service learning, as Father mentioned, outreach programs are there, which help our children to really grow with values and character. So that is one thing that we do. We have a program called Ashwas. Every child who studies in our school has to go to that program, which takes care of almost 500 people, free midday meal in the city of Bangalore every day. So these children go cook, they serve the food to these people every day. The people will be keep on changing. They are anybody can come and have the food, and they go, and every day during the assembly what we have is a program called Caritas. The children who celebrate the birthday will come on stage, as always in every school has. But we will give them a card and pen. Before receiving that, they will go and contribute something to this Caritas. And that amount comes around, in a one school, that amount comes in a year, more than 5 lakh. And this amount is handled by the children under the able guidance of teachers. Management has no role in that. And this fund is utilized for the medical and educational purposes. And what we tell our children is, before going out of your school, look for the people who are needed with you. And these children find the children who are weak financially. They find the children without telling them. They identify the children and they, give their fees. They go to their houses, help them. If any parent is having any difficulties, medical aids or something, we contribute that. So that, as ma'am mentioned and father mentioned, we grow together. Once we settle our house, then we can go out. We are having already 250 children in outside our school. We are taking care. But before that, we ask our children to identify the children who are having difficulties, whether it is academics, whether it is finance, and if anybody has any medical issues, they identify those children, and with the help of teachers and management, we help them to come, grow together. So what we feel is, our theme is for this academic year is well-being. As I just come back to the same topic, the children should be happy and healthy. And when they interact each other, when they make other children develop and grow each other, they all move together. So today I just told Shanti ma'am, I have the sports day today. Kannada medium. I just inaugurated it and just came running. My children are having sports day in the ICSE school campus. So they don't have a big ground there. So we bring them to the ICSE ground where we give all facilities to them. And these 500 children are being treated as the ICSE children. So I think that is what we want to tell, that we educate the heart than the brain. We want to create a culture of Christ. As Father mentioned about Jesuits, I belong to CMI, and we are in Bangalore and catering Christ University, PU colleges and schools. More than almost 1 lakh children are being trained in our campuses, various campuses, almost 1 lakh. And we find that it's not just 1 lakh children, it is 1 lakh families. That is much more important. If I take care of 3,000 children in my school, ICSE, I feel that it is 3,000 families. And that's how we, teach them, educate them, the values, the character, and also good for their, life. So education is not only for living, but also for life. Thank you very much.
Great. How do I summarize? So many things came. I think the the few things which I take away from this, one is I think Dr. Akash was mentioning about character, building character in academy, and then Sudhir, you were mentioning about the amazing work which you all do in terms of empathy and future preparing. I think you were talking about future preparing, and then Father Vinod, you were mentioning about person walks in as a person and walk away with a personality. And Geetha, you were talking about the inclusive work, inclusive education place, which is very important aspect. And of course, Father Nelson, you were talking about we educate educate heart, not only brain. So I think those are some of the standing messages and memories for me. And thank you, Dr. Akash from Bethany's, and Geetha from DPS, Mrs. Geetha from DPS, and Father Nelson from Christ, and Mr. Sudhir from Ashoka ASV, and then Father Vinod from St.Joseph's. I really enjoyed being with you. I appreciate all that you shared. Thank you.